Welcome to the For the Margin podcast, where we give biblical perspectives through marginalized stories. I'm Taj.
Oh, and I'm Bria. I totally forgot. That's me. I'm Bria, everyone. We switched sides, so I forgot where my camera was.
She forgot her
Bria. It's me. And we're joined by my little sister, light, feel like it's my child, Justice.
I'm already gonna cry.
Don't cry. Aww. You're about to stop. I'm literally gonna cry. I'm really trying to. She's really about to make me cry.
I can't wait.
And I'm not
already.
breathing.
We just started filming.
Okay, guys. Come here.
Aww.
Okay, I have to tell you guys how I know Justice. So, I met Justice, my little sister, everything, like when she was 16 years old. She's now 24. But she's a genius. She went to college at 16. And my friend group adopted her.
Literally the first day.
Yeah.
This was before school even started. It was summertime. It was a black student overnight or something. And I'm literally in the lunch line, and her entire friend group comes up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, what do you do to your hair?" All this stuff.
What's your haircut
And
routine?
immediately I was like, "Friends." Yeah, and me and Bria just remained close. You know?
Yeah, literally. It's crazy because I feel like you were so young, but so ahead of your years, if that makes sense. And I feel like you've always been like that because all your friends have always been older than you.
Yeah.
I
I was always the baby, always.
Always the baby. But so we brought Justice in because she literally is living out her childhood dreams and dancing across stages across the world. And it brings me so much joy. Okay, now I'm going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm breathing.
Look up.
I'm not crying because we have a whole episode to get through.
We have a whole episode, but the tears are going to come.
They're coming because I literally have seen you put so much into this, from when you first came to LMU and we're training so intensely, but also have already coming from such a long background of dance. And then your senior thesis always, that's why I'm getting emotional, literally always takes me out because I was just oh, this is the culmination of everything. And it almost felt like from that moment, it was there I saw it, and it maybe a year after, it was things just were rocket launching after that, but it's been beautiful. I was trying to.
I know, I'm looking at your eyes.
I'm trying not to, but it's been really beautiful. But
Thank you.
Yeah, today we're talking about gratitude.
Yes.
Sorry, Taj is y'all got the
I'm
waterworks
just enjoying
over
the
here.
moment. I'm just enjoying seeing that. I can feel the energy. I can feel the love for sure.
But this is us in Bria's apartment, on her couch, literally.
And that's how it
trying not to
should be.
cry.
I'm glad.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But we're here today to talk about gratitude.
Yes. Grateful for you.
Aww.
Okay.
I love you, child. Okay, so we're gonna pull it back together. But gratitude and how really having gratitude for the life that God has afforded all of us. And Justice does that expertly, and I know that's been a process because we literally talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I guess we can go straight into the scripture. I feel like that'll ground us because I could kiki and sit here and cry all
I was
day.
going to say, we could get the waterworks going now,
Yeah,
or we can have them later.
My lashes need to stay on for this whole episode.
Yeah, so
we'll
do the verse.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. So today's verse focuses on the end of Noah's storm. It's in Genesis chapter 8, verses 20 through 21. And it reads, "Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma." And that's pretty much what segues us into gratitude, because that was Noah's way of showing God his thankfulness for what he had done.
Yeah, and
ending the storm.
Exactly. And the storm ends, and before asking for something else, before moving to the next thing, before being oh my God, what happens after this, he was I'm gonna make an altar and honor God right now, in this very moment, before I jump to what you want me to do after the storm? What are me and my family supposed to do here now in this new
what's next?
world?
How do I do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was nope, I'm gonna thank God first.
Right. And I'm gonna honor him and be take this moment. And I feel like that's something we have to do daily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when we're living
multiple
out
times a day.
Moment by moment.
Yeah.
Literally. You gotta pause.
Literally.
It's crazy. But so I guess to start us off, how do you practice gratitude daily?
The very first thing that I do when I wake up is I write in my journal. I try to write down a list of things that I'm grateful for. I try to think of like all the things that like I want to accomplish and like all the things that I already have accomplished, because I feel like by sitting in what you already have, you're able to accumulate more. So I think that's like my biggest thing is like already taking in everything that I already have gained for myself, and really just using that energy to push forward towards the things that I want, you know?
Yeah. That's huge, because I feel like if you get distracted by like even just not even what you don't have, but not being appreciative of what you do have.
Yeah.
That's where gratitude starts first, is being like, oh God, thank you for this.
And you don't realize how far you've come until you're literally sitting in it and you're literally writing down like, and because I have a gratitude journal, like I know what I wanted in the last couple of years, you know, and what I've already gained from my previous things, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, what is it like looking back on those things and being like, dang, I really
it's
have
so crazy.
this.
Like even the smallest things of like now living in a 1-bedroom apartment versus my studio, like just like the little milestones like always make me so like incredibly grateful, because it's hard out here. Like LA is hard. Following your dreams, being a creative, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the first one I want to jump into is, and I feel like this is going to bring out the waterworks too, but tell us like childhood Justice, Baby J, like at, what do you call it, Dada? Dada, like training.
Yeah.
And then to now like touring and doing all the things that you're doing.
It's actually so crazy, because even at Dada, like I went Debbie Allen Dance Academy.
Thank you.
Debbie Allen Dance Academy. Yes, so that's where I started training. Like my, you know, when I was really, really young, I started there at 4 years old. And when I started there, I was actually the youngest like student at Dada. And it was because my brother was auditioning for one of her plays called Pearl. And he was about like 10 or 11. And I was too young to audition. But like I was just so intrigued by everything around me that I still wanted to be a part of it. So she actually let me audition. She casted me as an understudy, and I was 4 years old, like I said, and I was just so invested in the process. Like, I would sit in the theater and literally watch the play over and over again. Like, I was in every single rehearsal, taking my job so seriously. Like, I knew every lyric, every step. I knew every line. Like, I knew
4
that.
years old.
Yeah, 4 years old. I knew that
Wow.
play front to back. I would sit on my teacher's lap and recite the entire play.
Wow.
And on my
Crazy.
5th birthday, she actually let me do my part that I was an understudy for. So I was 5 years old
Oh
on
my
that
God.
stage.
Wow.
So that was like my big, like, that was like my first big moment of like
Yeah.
performing in front of like an audience and like really getting that feel. But I actually was put into dance classes really, really young. Like I was 2 years old. And like I said, my brother is an older dancer. So, you know, just like following in his footsteps, like I was very, very inspired by him. Like he was probably, not probably, he was my first role model. And just crying.
Shout out Jazz.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's
So
beautiful.
try not to cry already.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, my brother was definitely like my first big role model, and I think seeing him travel and do all the things that he wanted to do, it made me really inspired. So I started taking dance classes in every single style at, like I said, 5 years old. I'm in ballet, jazz, hip hop, like every single day up until I'm like maybe like 11 years old. And then I kind of like took a pause. You know, life happens.
Yeah.
It's okay. Oh my God, you make me want to go give you a hug right now.
Oh, you got it.
I basically, around like the age of like 11 years old, kind of took a pause. At that time, my mom had relapsed. And as a child, that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like even though dance was like my biggest, I guess, escape, it also was like something that I wasn't interested in anymore. You know, I kind of took like a break from it. And eventually God brought me back. It was like, this is what you love to do.
Amen.
So through that, I literally, maybe like a year later, I was 12 years old, I had booked a Mindless Behavior music video.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Stop.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that I was going through all of this during that time,
Yeah.
you know? Because who would, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I booked my first music video ever. That was like my first on-set job. Like, I had never done a music video. I never really worked on set before. So it was kind of like a big deal for me, you know? And that was the first time I ever worked with them. I actually knew one of the boys from Dada, Princeton. He actually trained at Dada as a dancer before he was in the group. So I reunited with him and all of his stuff, and I actually built like a really, really strong relationship with the boys, and I ended up working with them from like 12 to 15 years old.
Wow.
And through that, that's kind of like how I built, I would say, like, my following, I guess, like my platform. And I started teaching. And teaching dance, again, that was like another fire that I didn't know that I had. You know, I loved to teach, and I didn't know that. So I started traveling. Like, I was teaching in, you know, I was teaching in New York, I was teaching in DC, I was teaching in Dubai. Like, I literally have taught around the world, which is crazy. I was
That's amazing.
15 years old.
At 15 years old.
15 years
Literally.
old. And that's really, like, when my career really, like, kind of started, I guess. And then college.
Yeah, and then college.
And then college. And I feel like God really guided my steps, because college wasn't necessarily in the plan for me. Like, I didn't plan to go to college. I was so young. I was 15 years old. And I kind of just applied. I was just applying. I actually applied for film, because I was like, let me just, you know, I wanted to get into the behind the scenes. I want to learn about producing, directing, all of that. So I applied to LMU and UCLA. LMU basically was like, if you switch your major to dance right now, we'll let you in, we'll give you all these scholarships.
Wow.
So I was like, all right. I think they saw Debbie Allen's, like, name, and they were like, all right.
They're like,
Like, come dance for us. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right. So I became a dance major at LMU. Again, it wasn't in the plan, but I feel like God was just like, this is what, you know, this is what needs to happen in your life in order to get to where you want to be. Like, I feel like it was very intentional. So I became a dance major, and that's really where I found my voice in choreography. As you know, like, I put together, like, so many different pieces, like, contemporary and hip-hop pieces, and I built, like, a portfolio, which ended up being my senior thesis. And I feel like that's kind of where I shaped my voice as an artist, and that's when I became, I guess, more confident in who I was as an artist, was in college, you know? So I did my senior thesis, all of that. And then I graduated, 20 years old, and it's like, what now? You know, you need stability, and I had been working so hard, you know, like, in college I had 17-hour days, 18-hour days every single day. Like, I would do class, then I would do more class, and then rehearsals, and then more rehearsals, and it was just such a crazy life. And then you graduate, and it's kind of like, whoa, like, what now? Like, graduating is hard for anybody. Like, it's just so weird, but it's just like, I feel like my life was just kind of planned out for me until that point. And when I graduated, it was hard. Like, I hit, like, a really bad, like, depression. I was like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I've been dancing my whole life, but I also need stability now. Like, I'm an adult. I don't have student loans and things to help me with my rent. Like, I don't have, you know? So I got regular jobs, regular jobs. You know, I was working at a law firm, personal injury law firm. I did everything. I did casting. I did entertainment law. And again, I feel like this was God just, like, guiding my steps, because I feel like through casting and working in entertainment law, like, I learned so many different aspects of the dance industry that people in my industry don't get to, you know, experience. So through then, I was working at the casting agency, and it was kind of hard, because I'm just like, I'm sitting here casting people for roles that I could do, you know, like, and actually it came down to my agent had called me to go to a casting at the casting agency that I was working at. So I was literally working in the office, and I went in to do the audition. I got a call back for that job. It was for a print job. I got a call back for the job, and my boss at the casting agency was like, basically, you can work in the industry as a dancer, or you can work here. He gave me an ultimatum.
Oh.
Wow.
And I sat in my car and I cried every single day, because I'm like, I need stability. You know, I need the money. It's hard to take that leap of faith and that risk to just quit your job and go do what you love, you know? A couple weeks later, God is crazy, because a couple weeks later, I got a call for an audition for the future Meek Mill tour. And I booked it.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Hearing it in order like that is insane.
Like, just the alignment and, like, the path you were on, like you said, like, God was just like, nope, this is what you're meant to be doing.
Exactly. So I called my boss, and I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm sorry. Like, I booked this job. I'm going to be gone. So, again, I walked into that audition, and I just knew. That was the other thing. It's like, I knew. Like, I knew I was going to book that job. I don't know how.
That was God. That was God speaking to you, that feeling.
So, there was that. And, I was just turned 21 years old on my first tour. And it was just so incredible. Like, it was exactly what I wanted to be doing. And I think it was just, like you said, gratitude. Like, I would literally get out on the stage and literally just have to look up and be like, wow. I'm here.
Wow.
You're literally gonna make me tear up.
Literally, that's it.
I know,
right
this
there.
is a crying fest.
Yeah, but no, I think it's needed because like that moment, that's literally what we're talking about in the scripture.
Yeah.
It's literally you were on stage and we're like, dang, this is it.
It's so
like,
surreal.
Yeah.
It's so surreal.
Yeah, and just being present enough to like feel it and like have appreciation for it in that moment, you know?
Yeah, and I was just so hungry. Like, I was just so ready to be working in my industry that I was just like, I was just so ready to be there, you know? Like, as grateful as I was, like, I knew that everything that I had done up until that point was for this. So I was just prepared to be in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a shock or it was like I knew, like, I was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was my first job. Like, I'm really, really hard on myself. Like, I was the youngest one. Per usual.
Yeah.
I was the youngest one, so I was like the rookie. You know, I'm working with like vets who literally have been in this industry for so long. They're like literally the oldest one was 30 and I was 21, you know?
Wow.
So I really was the baby and there were a lot of things that I didn't know. So it's like learning on the job, just trying to do your best at all times. And then, you know, I got back from tour and things just kind of kept rolling from there, like literally just rolling. But of course, life happens and there's pauses and you have to do different things. Like, I've still had to do different jobs that I didn't want to do in between because it's just like,
it's life.
It's life, you know? But it's like you still have to remain grateful in those moments as well. It's so important to remain grateful in those moments as well because you have to know that God is preparing you for another step, you know? Like, sometimes it's just a break, you know? Sometimes you have to literally find peace in the break and you know, you have to understand why you're there too. You know, like sometimes you're in a break to be with family. Sometimes you're in a break to work on yourself. And I think that's how I keep myself grounded in gratitude as well because I understand that every season is for a reason, you know?
So that's huge because I feel like you touched on having gratitude in the moments that don't look like what you were like hoping for, you know, which is so important and still seeing those as
positive.
Yeah, like it's still a part of the overall plan.
It's a part of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's a journey. And I think a lot of people think that like once you make it, once you see your dream and your success, that you just keep going up from there. But in real life, it's a roller coaster. Like things happen. Like success is not linear.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, and I think people get so down on themselves and so hard on themselves when, you know, you have all of this and then it leaves you for a second, but you have to understand that why it leaves you, you know?
Right.
And it always comes back. It always comes back. If it's really meant for you, it will always come back.
Yeah, it's huge. And I feel like you have a very unique perspective because not everyone can say that they have like reached their dream, a point. And obviously there's so much more to you than just dance, and there's so much more than just where you are. But I know one of your dreams is like, I want to be touring on a huge tour. Like, I want to do this. You've done that. What is it like that feeling to now go back into doing different things and keeping yourself grounded in all of it? But like, what is it like to have the things that you've been praying for fully?
It's really, really wild. I think you just have, like, I just have to find like the love in it, because at the end of the day it's still work and it can get really hard and really stressful, but you really have to focus on why you're doing it. And like, I love to dance. Like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna dance for myself in my living room, or I'm gonna dance in front of millions of people, you know, but I'm still gonna dance, you know. So I think you just have to remember, like, even once you make it there, that this is like a passion, you know, like, and to keep that fire alive, you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for the money, you can't do it for
other people,
everybody else. You have to do it for yourself. So
that's huge.
I love that.
Huge. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I feel like
I'm like, did I answer your question?
You did. You did. You got it right. There's no right answer here, but you definitely answered it. And like, it's just so nice to hear your perspective from it, because like I said, I've seen portions of your story and I've seen pockets of it, but hearing it all together is really powerful. And I think it shows people that like like you said, no one's journey is linear. No one's journey goes from level to the next level to the next level. But also it's like, especially when you're a creative or whatever, doing anything at the end of the day.
Trying to reach your goal in anything.
Yeah, there's always going to be, like, I feel like we all focus so much on breaking that first barrier.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get in. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But, like, for instance, for myself, like, as an actor, I'm like, yeah, it's breaking that first barrier. But, girl, once the first movie comes, the first TV show, whatever it is comes, the next thing is going to feel like another barrier. It's going to feel the same. And so it's like mastering gratitude on the level of the entry level, quote unquote, or what you would call it, is what you're going to need at every level.
Yeah. You're going to need the joy. You're going to need the love. You're going to need the reason of why you're doing it, because it gets hard. Like, being creative is so hard. Like, it's so hard, and it can be so draining and so taxing, especially when you're doing jobs for other people. You know, you're creating for other people, you know? So, as fun as it can be, as glamorous as it can be, you know, you still have to just do it for you.
Yeah.
With that being said, what, like, unexpected challenges have come with reaching your goal? Like, things you just... Because I feel like when we do reach our goals, it's like it's a whole new level. We think about getting there and we're like, okay, the destination will be great, but then that's just a whole new ball game. Yeah. So what unexpected challenges have come with, like, you basically living your dreams?
I would say the lack of stability and consistency in my life. Okay. It's hard to plan anything. It's hard to do anything, because it's just like, I don't know where I'm going to be in the next week, let alone the next month, let alone the next year, you know? So I think just, like, really... taking the time to really focus on what's important when it's right in front of me, like family, you know, like my brother's about to have a baby this year, and like I've just been spending as much time with him and like my sister-in-law as possible, and just like family while I'm on a break. So when I do go back, it's just like we have all this time together. So I think that's like kind of challenging, is like having to miss out on big moments with like my friends and my family. But at the end of the day, everyone is so supportive and like so loving. So it's like,
And it's good when you have a good support system, too.
Yeah.
But also the lack of, like, financial stability sometimes. I'm like, Lord.
Like,
it's a test
Jesus,
in its
be a
own.
check.
Jesus, be a check, please.
Jesus, be a check. Because sometimes we get paid at 30, and I'm just like, my bills are here, you know? Like, my bills are here. But, that's another thing that people don't talk about. Dancers don't get paid great, you know, but again, this is what I love to do, and like that's actually a big thing going on in the dance industry right now, is like rates are so trash for dancers, and you know, we work so hard, we work just as hard as, you know, the artists that we're performing with, if not harder, you know, like we're in 8-hour rehearsals, like it's so crazy, and like our bodies go through so much,
I can imagine, and
we get compensated so little for it, but it's like when you love to do this, so it's like you either suck it up and just keep doing it, or you find something else, you know. But most of us suck it up. Most of us suck it up and try to fight for better rates, but you know,
it's almost like you have to be even just so grateful that you're doing what you love to be doing, that it's like, and I'm not saying like gratefulness don't pay no bills. Let's be honest, gratefulness do not
but
pay
God
bills.
will find a way.
But He will find a way when you're grateful. Exactly. So then technically gratefulness do low-key pay bills.
It do pay the bills.
It kind of pays bills.
That's the thing, is like, even when I didn't know when money was coming in the door, God was like, here you go. And money would literally come out of the sky. Like, you know?
It would come at the right time.
Exactly. And I realized that when you are in alignment, everything just comes to you. You have to be in alignment, though. You know, like you have to still take care of yourself from the inside out. Because when you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do naturally, everything gravitates towards you. That's meant for you, you know?
Absolutely. And I think it's huge. That's so important, because like you said, it's, you know that you're like doing dance and doing what you know that you were put on this earth to do, and there's so many other things, but you know that when you're doing that, you're in full alignment, you know?
Absolutely.
Like when I was getting my hair braided last night, I was talking to Nikhil, and Nikhil's mom, Auntie Nikki, shout out Auntie Nikki and Nikhil, and one of her clients, it was so beautiful, she was talking about flowers. She's a florist. And she lights up like you light up with dance. She does other things too, because she was like, I gotta pay bills, you know. But the two ways she lit up the most was talking about flowers and her husband and her family. And I literally was like, she's like, yeah, those are my loves. And I was like, that is so beautiful, because you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And she's like, I'm so grateful that I get to do what I want to be doing. And like, it's come in different ways, you know. Sometimes she's had to do other things. But just hearing that, like, it's crazy because I'm like, she's a whole different generation than us. Like, I think she was like 60 or 62, I think. She was so sweet. But she was having some other, like, challenges in her life, things were going on that she was sharing with us. But she just was so grateful just to, like, she's like, I'm so grateful I'm here getting my hair done. I'm so at peace. And I was just like, it's the little things, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm grateful I can go get my hair done. I'm grateful I can go out to eat. Like, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
That's a full luxury.
Yeah.
So I think just in those moments being really like, wow.
Yeah.
Like letting them fill you up.
Exactly.
You know?
Like just being grateful for any, like you said, any little thing, whether it's the car you drive, the roof over your head, the clothes on your back, like
what you have now too.
Exactly.
Not what you want, what you have now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to see how far you've come, that's a whole new level of gratitude.
Absolutely.
Especially if you've been through like hardships or, you know, seen times where it's been very dark and it's hard to find gratitude. It's even better when you get to the other side of it and you can see like you feel even more grateful. Or at least in my experiences, I feel like that's been kind of my story.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say 100% and I blocked it. I caught it before it came out my mouth.
It's okay.
Wow, I lost my train of thought. No, it wasn't 100%. Gratitude.
Just being grateful for the little things.
Yes, being grateful for the little things. Because I feel like if you're not grateful for the little things, you won't be able to be grateful for the big things.
Yeah.
You know, when they come, they're going to feel like nothing, you know?
And one thing I've learned, I was even talking to my mom about this on the way here, it was like whenever you're in a bad season or a quote unquote bad season where things are a little bit hard, it's God preparing you for what's next. I've learned that whenever there's like, it's like the storm before, what do they say?
Calm before the storm.
Yeah.
But it's the other way, it's the calm before the storm, but sometimes it's the
storm
storm before the calm.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
agree.
I'm saying. It's like the thing that happens. So I feel like it's like a slingshot, almost like God pulling you back to launch you forward.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm having a dark season, I try to keep that in mind. I'm just like, there's something big coming, and I can feel it. You know?
Yeah.
And
you can feel that transition. Like it always happens. And literally saying that the calm before the storm is just a cycle. It's like storm calm. So it's like
always
chicken before the egg, whatever they say, like which one came first. I really feel like it's like that because that's what was happening with Noah. It was a calm after the storm.
Exactly.
But it resulted out of a calm before the storm.
Yeah, it was calm before that storm, before he loaded up that ark.
Yeah, before he loaded up that ark.
Yes.
Then the storm started like brewing. It was like, okay, people down here acting wild. God about to wipe them out. Wait, hold on.
It was out.
Yeah, so it's just really like remaining just like, I almost want to say just surrendered in that process.
And just being present. I think a huge part of gratitude is being present because like you can find so much to be thankful for when you just focus on the now. And I talked about that in like the first episode. Just like all we have is now.
But it is.
Like even me right now, I'm like super grateful to even just like be here with you guys doing this. Like I don't know what I'm going to do 10 years from now or 5 years or even 5 hours from now. But it's like I'm super grateful that I have this opportunity to like sit with y'all, connect with y'all, share with y'all, like, you know?
Yeah.
You look so pretty over there.
Right. Just glowing. Matching the curtains and everything.
Oh yeah, I feel like that always happens.
This is Taj's curtain.
This is my curtain.
I like guest sit there sometimes.
Yes.
But that's Taj's
But this
curtain.
is my seat.
Yeah, I love it. But no, it's true. I really do think that we just have to be mindful of incorporating it into our day-to-day lives. Like every single day, every single moment. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Being grateful is a lifestyle. Because
I agree.
I feel like the latter can come from entitledness sometimes. Like I feel like since we all have had challenges in our life. But sometimes I feel like we're like, my life has been so hard. Like, I should be at this point by now. Like, I've been putting in so many hours. I should be here by now. And it's like, some people have done more than you and are nowhere near where you are.
Exactly.
So and be grateful.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I've heard it talked about so many times, like no one said life was going to be fair. Like, come on. I think once you let go of the idea that life is supposed to be fair, it's supposed to work out fairly for you, like that's when I feel like you can really practice like gratitude and being present and grounded all the time because like you said, that level of entitlement, like thinking that you deserve something because you did X, Y, and Z or because you had a harder life than maybe you think your peers did. Like it's really about getting rid of that idea. Like life is not necessarily supposed to be fair. Who said it was fair? Does it say it in the Bible? I don't think so. I don't think it says in the Bible life is supposed to be fair.
Yeah, that's huge, is removing your expectation of what your life should be.
Exactly.
And what your
that's
life
nothing.
should look like.
Yeah.
You know, that's
sometimes God will literally humble you.
Humble
you completely.
Rope check even.
Yeah, very much.
I feel like
Very
that'd
much.
be humbling.
I've been throat checked many times by God, and I'm just like, all right.
I'm like,
maybe
oh,
I'm not
whoa.
supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I was ready for this, but clearly not. And it'd be like humble to the point where I can't even be like, oh, maybe. No, like the whole opportunity is snatched. Like it's gone. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be grateful for where I am. Grateful for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it could be a completely unsettling and like disrupting experience when that happens, I feel like.
Yeah.
It can be, but it redirects you to kind of like your true path, what God had laid out for you. Like you said, having our own expectations can clash a lot with what God has planned for us.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question for both of you.
Ooh.
When your idea is snatched by the Lord, just snatched up, like what you thought was supposed to happen, how do you remain grateful in that moment? And don't say being grateful for what you have, because we already talked about that.
You're right. You're right. I gotta come up with something new.
else.
That's a good question.
Don't flip that question on me because I don't have an answer. But
I think it's just I take it as a reminder that like my life is not my own. It's God's. Like God has a plan for me because He knows what's best for me. Like I believe, like I told you before, I believe God lives within all of us. So like following God is following my true self in a sense. So I just take that time to like remind myself that like when something's snatched from me or something doesn't work out or for whatever reason, I just know I'm being redirected and it's not necessarily a negative because the outcome of it is supposed to be what I'm truly meant for.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, like I remind myself of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You better.
Stop it.
You better.
Yeah. Adding to that, I would say that, like I said, like, whatever is for you will never pass you. You know, I really believe that. Anytime I go into an audition or anything, I'm just like, if this job is for me, I'm going to get the job. If it's not, then I'm not.
Exactly.
And I think I just find peace in that and knowing that God has already made the plan. You know, I'm just kind of here living it, you know? So if something passes me by or something gets snatched from me, then it was to protect me. It was to...
That's a big one.
Yeah, it was to protect me. I wasn't supposed to be there for whatever reason. It wasn't aligned with my purpose and my path. Like, those are just things that I know, you know? So when things like that happen, of course I'm going to get hurt. But at the end of the day, like, I know what it was for, you know?
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, I did find an answer.
What's your
what's your answer?
Y'all.
You in the hot seat
now. Now I'm a hot seat. I put myself here. No, just kidding.
You're right.
It was, if it was snatched from me, it was never mine to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, just hearing both of you say that, it's like, it wasn't mine.
Yeah.
And because nothing that is mine could be taken away from me.
Exactly.
God would not allow anything that is for me to be taken away from me.
Yep.
Like, we locked in. Okay.
Locked in.
Like,
for
He
sure.
would not, like, let that happen. And I don't think that He would let that happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, if something is truly for you, it would be yours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally
and that's very
agree
much
with
just a
that.
part of life, you
Yeah.
know? Like, everybody goes through these things. Like, I think sometimes we think, like, we're the only one, like, living a certain, like, hardship or, you know? But it's like, this is literally a part of life and, like, what builds you to be the person that you are. Like, everything's not going to be just great and happy and you get every opportunity that you want. I think that's what builds character. That's what builds, you know, passion. That's what builds fire and that drive is going after these things, even when they are taken from you. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, you're not hungry enough, you know, so you need to work harder, you know?
That's what humbles
Like,
you.
Again, God will humble you and be
Yeah.
like, all right.
God is in the humbling business.
Right. He's in the humbling business.
He really is.
He will
He's
be
like, oh,
"It's-
you thought that was yours? Let me show you.
Let me show you.
Oh, you thought
what
you was
it really
hot, huh?
takes."
Exactly.
Let me make it cold.
And they'd be like, "Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
That's crazy that what you just said is a part of really like one of the reasons why For the Margin was really started. And me and Tasha like went back and forth with, girl, we went back and forth on what the log line For the Margin was, time and time again, trying to find it, trying to get it together.
Speak on it.
Like really trying to like, what is it? You know, like what are the words for it? And in the like about, I basically wrote an open letter to like from myself to the consumers. I don't know.
Pretty much
y'all,
the world.
to the world.
Anyone
An
that's
open letter from me
consuming
to y'all.
Yes.
That basically talks about like my journey from how we always kind of have all felt like the underdog of our own story, basically.
Yeah.
Because if I were to live through your shoes every single day, I would know everything that no one else in the world knows that you were facing. Same with Taj. Same with everyone in this room. We would know like, wow, I see how many struggles you really had.
Yeah.
So in our head, we're all over like an underdog who's like overcome so much. And I think that unites us so much more than we think it does. And that gives me gratitude is when I'm like reminded that everyone else has felt exactly what I'm feeling before.
Yeah.
Jesus felt what I was feeling before.
Yeah.
Like humbled. People was really like,
everyone goes through their valleys.
Yeah, everyone
Yes.
goes through through that. And I think that's really like the intention. Now I'm going through a whole nother topic, but the intentionality of why God was like sent Jesus. It was like, because it's like, I am showing y'all this blueprint and like what this feels like. It is not a foreign feeling to like for any of you.
And put it in the form of Christ, like he was a living, breathing human. So he experienced everything that we experience.
Exactly. And I think just realizing that is like, that's what's going to give me gratitude today. Is realizing that Jesus went through everything that I went through. And not need to stop being so entitled and just breathe through it and be grateful. Yeah. Well, I think that's the episode.
I think it is. I think
I thought I was gonna cry at the end. We started
with crying, and you got it together.
So we knew that we were like, I was like, Justice like, I'm gonna cry. I was like, if you cry, I'm gonna cry, and I knew it was gonna happen.
I just know myself. I'm an emotional person.
That's so funny, because you said before this, you were like, I should have cried before this.
Yeah.
And then you probably wouldn't have, because you started by crying.
Started crying.
So you got me emotional. I was like, hold up, I just met you today. I was tearing up.
I love it. Well, Justice, you're our guest.
Yes.
Second guest of ever. And we are going to invite you. So we leave a food for thought for all of the listeners, viewers, podcasters, whatever, all of you beautiful people in the world. And it's just like a little nugget that they can take with them. Do you have anything that you want to just...
About gratitude?
It could be a one-liner. It could be 2 words.
Advice.
I guess what I would say about gratitude is that gratitude is very much in the little things, like it's in taking in your surroundings. Like, what do you see? What do you smell every day? Like, what do you have? Like, and I think that's how I practice gratitude mainly. Is like when I go out and I look at a stage or I get on stage, like I'm looking out to everything. I'm looking out at all the people. I'm looking out at the lights. I'm looking out at I'm really taking in my surroundings. And I feel like by fully taking in your surroundings, that's how you stay present in gratitude. Is by literally taking in what's around you, taking your environment.
Yes.
So that's my nugget.
That's a great nugget.
That's huge. So my challenge to all of you at home is, how can you take in your environment today? That's what we want them to do. Take in your environment.
Yes.
Well, it's giving prayer.
Who's feeling prayerful on this couch?
Bria's get it.
I knew she was gonna do that. I knew.
Bria
gonna do the prayer.
She really didn't even give an option. Okay, well, alrighty. I like how Terrell had his whole hands. I'm gonna give. It's giving hand holding.
It's giving hand.
I love it. All right.
I'm holding hands with the camera.
I love it. We're holding hands. We're including our crew in this hand holding. All right, God, I just want to say thank you for this. Actually, we're really grateful for this day. That's what I want to lead with. Thank you. Thank you for this day, for all of us, for this conversation that we've all had here. I ask that you make each of us and all of those listening better from this conversation. And I ask that you allow those listening and even all of us in this room, Father God, to be appreciative for the ways that you are moving in our life in this very moment, not in a year from now, not in 2 minutes from now, not in 2 months from now, but right now. So right now, God, on behalf of all of us and all of those listening, we say thank you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
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 And that's the episode.
Ooh, it's giving. Oh, she break out the choreography. Hey.
Oh no.
We did a little jig with Terrell.
We did do a little. It's giving.
For the margin.
It's giving tatted across the floor. I love it. I love it. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to cry again. It was beautiful.